first step is to fix the AC unit. I talked about this in a video a couple days ago. The fan is not turning. I replaced the capacitors, both of them in there. Still wouldn't work. It would just turn like one click almost. Okay, so I just mocked it all up here. Plugged it in. Let's see. Once I put this in, it should try to kick on. It's spinning. It's more than I ever got out of that guy. I don't know if it's spinning as fast as should be. So new motor is in, and I just need to plug in these 3 wires over here, tighten up this guy so that it's like right there, and then test fire this thing. Oh man. Wow, and the camera, the frame rate's not really picking it up, but it's spinning full speed. Is it backwards? Oh man, did I put it on backwards? We have an AC fan again. Okay, so now that we have AC again, my next order of business is going to be to clean up this shop because it looks like a Mustang exploded in here. I forgot. Bought some new tools. So this right here is a OEM like air condition, fuel line, you know, a couple other OEM connectors. This is like a kit for taking them off. Like, I don't know which ones are all which yet. I've used the fuel line ones a few times, but I lost mine somewhere. I don't know where it is. I used to have to use these for the V1 to take the OEM fuel lines off, but this is a nice kit to have, so I can take apart the AC and put together the AC on chip once the time comes. And then this is kind of cool, honestly. It's kind of like a rite of passage almost. I have never owned a torque wrench. I have only ever owned impact wrenches, and that's usually what I use, is an impact on everything. But I ordered this Tecton Tools torque wrench. It's pretty nice quality. This is not sponsored. I bought this, but it's nice enough. I needed it because eventually that motor is going to be getting cylinder heads. So once those come back from Texas Speed and the cam and everything, that guy's going to be going together. To here now with all the rest of my cases of specialty tools. Now I am really prepping this thing for paint. So I moved all the harness that I could, moved the fuse box out of the way, just bungee corded it up here so it's kind of out of the way and I can spray under it. And then I'll wrap up all the harness and figure out my color. I have not figured out a color yet, but it needs to be prepped regardless, so might as well just do that while I'm here. I'm so indecisive about this. Indecisive, I don't know. This was a bronze that I had. This was black, and then the same blue that I used in the 240. Definitely not the blue. Bronze is eh, and black just looks great. So, it was 4 wheels. I got it to do the Subaru wheels, never ended up doing it, but it's kind of a cool color, so. But good old gloss protective enamel Rust-Oleum is a solid product. And then this is what I used in the 240. It's like a deep blue, which is a cool color too. I don't know, definitely not blue, but black. So I did the Camaro the same exact way. Maybe I will do the front. I forgot that I did it like that. Tough decision. The black looks so good in this car, especially because the black will match the lid of the LSA, and you just really can't go wrong with black. Well, you guys know I'm building a Mustang, so obviously the first company I'm gonna reach out to is the guys that do Mustang suspension. UPR Products. We got a K member, we got a bunch of other goodies. just to kind of get us started, and we are gonna be throwing the book at this car. Basically, they have an SN95 race car that weighs probably more than this car is gonna weigh, and this is basically the formula they use on it, and it works. Their car goes super fast, and it class races really well. So, you know, local company, they support Bradenton, they support the racetrack, they support racing, they go to so many races. So it was just made sense for me to, you know, reach out to UPR and get some of their products on this car, because they are going to be the ones that bring this thing together for sure. So let's cut these open, because I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this looks like. Check out all this race car stuff for Chip. Guys, I love aftermarket K members. They make every car just 1,000 times better. And this UPR one is like jewelry. Oh man, it's so nice. The silver is gonna look so good in there too, with everything else being silver. And it's just gonna really come together. So I'm really excited for this. So we got an aftermarket K member with the mounts that are gonna be able to just have LS mounts go right into them. We have their upgraded top hats with all the adjustability. This is a little new to me. The way that the Mustangs do their strut is a little different. It's more like a 240 versus the Camaro that has an upper A-arm and a lower A-arm. A little different, not what I'm used to, but I'm really excited to start learning it. This is just a upgrade for your stock shock. So this goes over your shock, and then you put the spring over it too to turn your stock stuff into a coilover basically, which is really cool because this is so budget friendly, this stuff. This makes the LS swap just so much easier. We can fit a better oil pan, and we don't have to worry about all that other junk. Upgraded arms with brand new ball joints, brand new castle nuts. Like, everything on these is just made to the utmost perfection. I have been a huge fan of UPR for a long time. I actually have asked them on many occasions to start making F-body stuff, but they're pretty deep in the Mustang world. They make parts for all Mustangs, and basically every Mustang guy I know has some kind of UPR product on their car, because their stuff is just, you know, it's top of the line. Basically the whole front end will be brand new, and I'm so ecstatic for that. It's just gonna be awesome. This stuff is so nice, and it's gonna be so capable for what we're doing, and it'll leave us so much room to grow that it's just perfect. They had this stuff to me in just a few days. They stock all of this stuff in Florida, and it's all made in the US. Well, I'm gonna get the engine bay painted so we can get this stuff bolted in and start putting the front end back together. Have this thing a roller before we know it. Okay, so it's Monday. I spent the weekend kind of just popping in and out here and painting the engine bay to make it nice. Could have went a little more overboard and prepped this bay a lot more, you know, painted the trans tunnel a little bit more, some of the frame rails, but for what you're gonna see and for what really counts, I think this engine bay came out awesome. I went with black just because I know it looks good, holds up well, and it's so easy to touch up that it's just the obvious choice, and I'm really happy with how it came out. This engine bay looks 1,000 times better. So next I wanted to talk about some of the other stuff on the front end. So the only thing that I don't have ordered or don't have that I need for the front end is the spindles. So obviously I could just go take them off of the old K-member and everything, but I was really trying to find some brand new spindles just because I'm this far, I'm redoing everything. I'm not using the OEM hubs, I'm not using the original hubs, I'm not using the original arms, the shocks, nothing. So I didn't want to just go grab something like that. I even ordered a new steering rack. So it's just kind of like one of those things, like if I could just replace the arms, the spindles, I will, but I can't seem to find a brand new set. I don't know. If anybody's got a brand new set of spindles for an SN95, please email me, or if you know where to get them, because I couldn't find them. That's not our biggest concern yet, because we're still waiting on the shocks and the steering rack and a couple other things, so it's not like it's a huge issue just yet. Soon enough it'll be a bigger issue, but I also don't have front brakes yet. I haven't decided what I'm doing for front brakes because I would like to keep like a big brake in the front, like a, I don't know how can I describe this, like a vented and, you know, 4-piston bigger front brake, like a road race almost style front brake. Because if you guys have watched a lot of Rocky Mountain Race Week, and I've been in that situation, when you're going down the mountains, especially if you're towing a trailer and there's really anything, when you're going down the mountains, having a big vented brake rotor is nice. And this car doesn't need some lightweight front brakes or anything. I'll do some lightweight brakes in the back, but the front I would like to keep like a big brake kit, basically. I was looking for maybe like the Cobra of this year had a big brake kit that I could order. They're really just kind of like, they're nothing too great. They're like stock looking calipers. I was hoping for like something a little beefier, because I think I would really appreciate having that in the long run. I want to get this car rolling. I don't want it to be taking up this lift for that long, and until it has, you know, front K-member and wheels and tires, it ain't rolling anywhere. That's why I'm leaving the diff in for as long as possible in the back, until that one is fully ready to just bolt in the other 8.8 that I have. But that's where I'm at, just hunting around, trying to find all the right parts, trying to get everything ordered. I got so much new stuff ordered. Always something cool to find on a used car. It's like a Heidecke. I haven't seen one of these in like 10 years. I also have a new fuel tank for it from Holley, so that'll be cool. You know, OEM fuel tank, and then I'll weld a sump onto the back, or have somebody that knows how to weld better than me weld a sump onto the back, and then we can just do like a -10 AN line up to the front for a bigger electric water pump, because, you know, fitting up a stock for a bigger electric fuel pump, water pump. I've had water pump on the mind with this car lately. So bigger electric fuel pump on this thing, and just run it right up to the front. Keep it simple, something that's very easy to replace, you know, on the side of the road. If it's just like a big Magnafuel or Aeromotive pump, and I can just pull it off and, you know, put a new one on in a few minutes, instead of something that's in the tank that, you know, I have to drop the tank for, or something crazy like that. Just all things that I like to think about on a car like this for ease of use and accessibility. And another thing with that will be, if I can put the pump off the back, it can get some airflow. Another big thing that happened to a lot of people on Rocky Mountain Race Week was their pumps overheated and their fuel got so hot it was boiling, and they could hardly even drive the car because the fuel was boiling. So a couple things I'm gonna try to, you know, do to solve that. Okay, so while I was under it, I bolted up the K-member just a little bit. There's still one bolt missing on each side. I just wanted to kind of mock it up, make sure everything fit well, and it looks so awesome. Now time to peel off all this and lay the wiring back out nicely. So that's my next step. Took all the tin foil off and made sure everything was good. There was one little spot I missed right here, so gotta let that dry a little bit. Then this whole side is basically just headlights and blinkers and horn and all that stuff. I don't know what these guys are either. They're still starting to lean towards that there for the headlights, like a some kind of capacitor or something like that, so that the headlights have the power. But I don't know, something. But it is looking really nice in this engine bay. I'm happy I went with the black. It looks really good once you open the hood, and it's just a really clean deal. And then all the UPR stuff is going to be silver for the most part. So after I changed up some of the wiring, disconnected a bunch more things, I wanted to test it again. So hooked up the power to where the power will go, and let's test it. So none of this stuff is connected. None of the, what I believe is the engine control stuff is connected, but only the body control stuff. So we should have power to the car. I mean, my ground is a little questionable right now. It looks like we have power. Yeah, there you go. So let's try headlights. Blinkers. So we have one blinker. The other one's not blinking, but it's like fast blinking, so I don't know if that's just a blinker issue, like the bulb is out. Well, we have headlights. The blinker should be working. Maybe these are like multi-phase lights, I think so. I don't know. But something like that. You know, there's like the 2-stage lights, whatever they're called. These are brights. Good, we got brights. We should have tail lights. Sweet. Radio we still have, and all the radio stuff. Obviously, that shouldn't do anything. Oh, look at that, we still have a fan. Cool. So it's not going to be cold because we don't have a AC condenser. And the vacuum line's not hooked up. So we don't have any, what's it called, different vent selections. We only have the one. The default is the defog. So even if we can't get it all to work, we will still have AC, the fog deal. I know that beeping's annoying, kind of just permanently does it. We still have windshield wipers. Stop, please. It's so dry. Oh, this poor windshield. And then I also want to get all the gauges to work. I don't know how well we'll be able to do that. Shouldn't be terrible. It almost seems like the voltage is working. So voltage is working and fuel gauge is working. So really it's gonna be about speedo, tach, which tach shouldn't be bad, coolant shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, oil temp shouldn't, yeah, I mean, oil temp's a little weird. Is that oil temp or pressure? Looks like temperature. Coolant shouldn't be too bad. Oil pressure would be cool to have. Yeah, the only thing that I'm worried about having is speedo, because I couldn't find any way that the speedometer was connected. I don't know if it's a calculation off the motor or something, and like transmission. It's probably an automatic transmission thing, I guess, because there was no wheel speed sensors that I could find, at least on the front, which is normally where it would be, but it's probably based off the auto trans, so could be a little difficult. Hard to say, but I don't know. I'd like to figure that out, and I should probably take all this nitrous stuff out of here. And then I'll also take out the airbag, and I think I'm gonna try to either put the screen on the passenger side and then just use these stock gauges, or maybe I'll try to put the little Holley Terminator screen somewhere over here. But it would be kind of cool to put the big screen on the passenger side. You know, it's not stuff you need to look at constantly. When you're driving, you really don't need much besides like tachometer, and I mean, that's really it. When I'm going down track, the only thing I'm looking at is the tach. Everything else is pretty much, you're pretty much going too fast to really pay attention to anything else. Maybe put like the little warning light stuff easily visible, but if that screen lights up bright red, you'll know pretty quickly. You'll see it in the corner of your eye, even driving. What is this? Oh, dang. I didn't even know that was there on my time slips, because this thing's such a race car. Look at that. That's actually pretty convenient. Okay, so now that I have all the wiring, these ones are not used either. They'll just tuck away somewhere, or maybe I'll shorten them or something. Now that I have the body control stuff figured out, I appreciate Ford making that so easy and convenient to just put this body control stuff in place still. Now that I have that, that all kind of takes over the passenger side, or that all takes over like the driver's side area, and then the engine side will be over here. So I'll put all of my engine control stuff on this side and tuck it, you know, through the firewall where this OEM harness goes, through this grommet, and then into the glove box area where they keep the factory ECU. And then I can ditch all this stuff because it's not needed anymore. Really happy with how this is coming together. These top hats look so good on here too. These are the Camber Caster adjustable top hats that I got from UPR. You can adjust all of them, you can turn them a little bit. Like, there's so much adjustability on this, and this is how you adjust your camber and caster. And they look really good on there too. Fuel tank is out now as well. I am gonna reuse these two guys, or maybe just this one. I don't know if I need to reuse this one, but I'll probably have to use it to seal the new cell. I'm not gonna use any of these lines, so I just cut them. Be very careful using a cutoff wheel. Just be careful. It can cut fuel lines, but it is a little dangerous. Is that really a second? How many locks does this guy have? There's two Haida keys on this thing. What the heck? Did he lose the first one? Just in case, you know, you lose your first one, you need a second one. Not gonna reuse any of this stuff besides the sending units, but even the new fuel cell might actually have a new sending unit and fuel level switch, so I may not even end up using any of that, but just have to clean these up, possibly put them on the new one, reseal it, and run new lines, but they're not gonna come out the top, so I'll have to like loop this or something, I don't know, weld it, crimp it, I don't know. Some kind of way to seal this. Gonna reuse the factory fill neck, put that on the new one. This car is gonna feel like a normal car. That's the end goal, is anybody can just get in it, you start it up like a normal car and you drive it. Nothing crazy, nothing fancy, nothing, yeah, so. Just got to dispose of this in a normal fashion. Man, I just got to talk about how nice that UPR K member looks again. It's so freaking nice. Can't wait to get all the rest of the front end UPR stuff in. Get this thing sitting back down on the ground. Oh, such a good look. I love aftermarket K members. It's kind of one of those things that just makes a car 10 times better. Well, I took the ECU and the engine harness out, and the ECU is kind of like similar size to the Holley, so I'll probably be able to put the Dominator, I'll probably be able to put my Terminator in the same spot and then run the wires through the same area. They kind of come through right here and then go up through there. You can go to the motor all nice and casual, like, you know, tucked. Run them up across the firewall here, and back is usually how I like to run those harnesses. Looks a lot better when you try to tuck everything, and the harnesses are really easy to tuck. But that actually brings me to something I'm kind of can't get out of my mind right now. So I kind of want to put all of this wiring back on the motor and trans that's sitting outside and try to fire it on the ground. I don't know why I feel the need to do that. Part of me wants to basically build a second vehicle now. So the old fuel cell, the old rear end, wheels and tires, and all of this. I don't know why part of me wants to make this all run. Oh, shoot, that thing leaked trans fluid. Just a little bit, clean that up. I don't know why part of me wants to make this a running vehicle again. I think it'd be kind of cool. Just kind of maybe triangulate some bars or something. I don't know. It's probably a big job, but it would be pretty fun to have this thing able to cruise. Put the shifter back on, or just put some kind of like shift pole and just, I don't know. Part of me is telling me to try that. Should go together fairly easily. I didn't cut anything but, you know, AC hoses. Should probably explore this a little deeper. Could be a lot of fun. I don't know, sometimes I have these ideas and I just can't get them out of my mind. Like, I just have to see them out, even if it's gonna be terrible. Kind of like the Subaru, but sometimes you just have this vision in your head and you have to try it. And this is kind of one of those situations. But yeah, so this is where we're probably gonna stop for the day. I'm out of stuff to bolt on. I have the A-arms, but I'm just gonna leave those off for now because they don't do anything if I don't have the spindle and the shocks. So I'm just gonna wait until I get everything. Waiting on the steering column, waiting on the steering rack, and then we should be able to hook that all back up. Hopefully that's nice and clean. Whew. But really just waiting on parts now, playing the waiting game, and there's so much stuff coming. So huge thank you to UPR for helping me get all this stuff situated, helping me out huge on getting this car going. We are going to be doing a lot of UPR stuff on this build. They are just the Mustang plug. They have stuff for every single Mustang on their website. I go on basically every day now, and I can't believe how much little Mustang, like, intricate things they sell, and so many other good things. So definitely check them out. Check out their website. I'll link it in the bio. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know I talked a lot about plans and what I'm trying to do, but I hope you guys are excited. This thing's gonna come along really quickly once everything starts to get here. I am super pumped, and I am so excited for the direction that this build is going. There's so much cool little intricate stuff that we're gonna be able to do on this car. So much things that we can try and, you know, explore some new avenues of, you know, wiring and meshing LS with Mustang that I've never done before, and I think it's gonna be really cool. So thanks for watching, guys. That'll do it. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time.